try to explain it over here as much as possible, but I'll be covering all those Sanskrit words when we'll be doing these topics one by one, okay, more clearly, more deeply, okay. So if you have any doubts, you can write it down, you can also ask at that moment, but there will be questions which you may not understand. I'll try to break it, I'll try to explain in as easy format as possible, but the reason behind this analysis is to tell you to form the answers, okay. Concepts will be doing in the class, okay, Saptarishi. The second thing is I'll be coming up with a PDF which will hold each and every, like most of the Sanskrit words, and you'll be able to understand that what Indian philosophy is based on. So I think you are reading Indian philosophy, right? You've read few things.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, what did you read?
I have read Charvak philosophy.
Okay, Charvaka you had read. Okay, very nice.
I have
And
read Lokayato Darshan, Lokayato, yes, sir.
okay,
And few
and what
things.
else?
Not,
After the what
and I
else?
have read about the differentiations of the philosophical ideas like Yog and Purvamiyamsa, Uttarmiyamsa, these things.
Okay, okay, that's very nice. So when you see Sanskrit words, you find it like easy to understand.
Yes, ma'am. It's not a problem.
Okay, I hope that you are writing those Sanskrit words also.
I have not yet, but I shall, right?
Yes, you have to write
Yes, sir.
because you will be seeing. YouTube. So, first of all, talk about Indian philosophy. Indian philosophy is a many Sanskrit words, and feel problem in that only. So, as I said, that I'll be sharing the PDF, which will hold most of the keywords and most of the Sanskrit words, explaining Hindi and English both. Okay. So, when we talk about Indian philosophy, it's divided in orthodox and heterodox. Do you have any idea what it is? What is it? Any idea?
Okay, so,
Yes.
ma'am, Mehak is unable to join in the class because of some technical issues, I think.
Can you repeat again?
Mehak is
Okay. So I was waiting for your answer, Saptarishi. What is orthodox and heterodox? Because you are reading Indian
Yes,
philosophy,
ma'am.
so these are the basics.
Yes, ma'am. Orthodox means the belief in the traditional beliefs or the beliefs that are already going on for a long time. And
Belief
heterodox
in what?
means that yes, ma'am.
Belief in what? Thank you.
Believe in the traditional beliefs, the beliefs that are continuing for a long time without questioning them.
Okay.
And
So in
heterodox is
Indian
the opposite of.
philosophy, orthodox is astic and heterodox is Gnostic. Now, what are astic and Gnostic? Astic who believes in Vedas, Vedic theories, and Gnostic who don't believe in Vedas. Understood? So, when we
Yes,
talk
ma'am.
about Charvak, now because you have read Charvak, in which category does he fall? Heterodox or Orthodox?
Gnostic, Gnostic,
In
heterodox.
heterodox, right? Yes. Okay. So please read the question. Answer the following questions in about 150 words each. Explain the ground on which Charvak rejects inference, Anumana as valid source of knowledge. Now, when we talk about Charvak, he accepted only one thing. What did he accept? Pramana, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Right. So his theory is actually based on rejecting inference. On what basis he rejected it? So let's understand. So first of all, explain that he belongs from the school of heterodox, right? And it strongly upholds perceptions, perception. Anything that we can see is true knowledge according to Charvak, right? And if we cannot perceive it, if we cannot see it, that's invalid, right? And inference is the one which he refutes very properly. So we'll understand how did he refute and what example he gave. So other pramanas like inference, comparisons, and testimony are rejected. Out of these, their rejections of anumana is especially central because it shows their deep commitment to direct experience rather than their subsections of abstract reasoning. Now, grounds, on what basis he rejected it? Charvak argues that inference is uncertain, doubtful, often misleading. Since anuman depends on universal relations, do you understand what vyapti is? What is vyapti?
Or the extension or the extent.
Yes. And what is Hetu?
Hetu means the symbols or the what can I say?
Okay. In
The
these two, what is Hetu and Sadhya? What is Hetu and Sadhya in these two?
okay. So Hetu is smoke and Sadhya is fire.
Can you repeat again? Can you please repeat again? Can you repeat again, Saptarishi?
Ma'am, I wrote it.
Okay, you wrote it. So Hetu is smoke and Sadhya is fire. Okay. Okay. So now he says that it's impossibility in all cases, right?
Now, because there are different, the inference is there, testimony is there, right? So he criticized each one of them individually. What did he say? That it's impossible of knowing all cases. To claim to know that, for example, wherever there is smoke, there is fire. So it's like that you have to observe every instance. You have to observe every step to prove this theory, right? So he says that it's impossible to do that, right? So on basis of this, he rejects it. Then comes the second problem, problem of infinite regress. If we try to justify Vyapti through another inference, that inference itself needs justification and so on, and lastly the circular makes Anumana reliable. So suppose you are proving inference, right? What's inference? Can you give me an example of inference? What's inference? Saptarishi, can you hear me? Saptarishi, am I audible to you? So what's inference?
Is infinite regress.
So he
What
is
is the
saying
question?
what is inference? Can you give me an example of inference?
Sir, ma'am, what is the question? I can't hear it.
I'm asking what is inference? Am I not audible to
Okay,
you,
infinite.
bro?
Yes,
Is there any problem you are facing from my side? So inference, suppose saying that there is fire because you can see smoke. So you infer something out of something, right? Because of smoke, you infer that there is fire, right? So this inference. So Charmak says that because you want to prove inference, right? You are going to take help of inference only. So this circular motion, this is also not reliable, right? Then he moves toward unreliability of testimony. So, for testimony, he says that suppose a person who is writing the text or the person who is speaking, right? All these testimony can be false also, right? So, person, if that person is trustworthy, only then they can rely on that knowledge. But what if that person is lying, right? So, this testimony is also unreliable. Any question? Any question till here, Saptarishi?
no, ma'am.
Okay, rejection of universals. Schools like Nyaya say we can perceive universals like smokiness and fairness, right? That grounds Vyapti. Now Charvak denies this, claiming universals are mere mental constructs. What is true in observed cases may fail in unobserved cases, right? To this, what he says that only there is one reality. What did he accept? What did he accept?
Charvaka accepted the reality before our eyes, not something beyond beyond
Yes.
the
To
world
this
or external world.
to this universal like smokiness and fairness, he didn't accept it, right? He says these are just mental constructs of ours, right? So all these cases, observed cases, may feel in unobserved cases. Now, fifth pointer is uniformity of experience is not guaranteed. Even if past experience shows a constant relation, things may change by their own nature. Swabhava. To assume uniformity is already to rely on inference which is circular. Now because he rejected inference, right? Then to accept this, that experience shows a constant relation. This is also not reliable according to him. Understood? Next, denial of causal laws. Other schools assume fixed causal relations. Charmak sees events as accidental, arising out of their own nature. It sometimes inference works, it is only coincidence, not a proof of its validity. What it means? That experience isn't always the same, right? No fixed of cause and effect. Other schools, assumes things always have a cause, but Charmak says events happen naturally, accidentally, or randomly. So even if reference sometimes works, it's just coincidence. It's not a proof. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then errors in everyday inferences. So he says that mistaking, suppose for example, mistaking fog for smoke, thinking a cloud is rain. So these are like mistakes we do. So he says that since errors are common, inference can be fully trusted. So in practice, inference often misleads. For instance, mistaking fog for vapor, for smoke, since it can easily go wrong, anumana cannot be claimed certainty. So please read the conclusion. Thus, for Charmak, inference is only a form of guesswork, not a source of certain knowledge. It goes beyond what is given in perception and hence violates their principle that only the perceived is real. Now, how it reminds you of Hume. Do you remember his causation theory? What did Hume say? What did he
Him
say?
talk, talked about the sequence of the events. One event is
Yes.
happening after an event.
Yes, he gave example that if one ball A is hitting another ball B, then it's just events, one event following the other event, right? This is what he said. So he said causality is not necessary, but only a habit of the mind. Psychological factor he gave, right? So formed through repeated experience, both highlighting custom over logical certainty. And then philosophical contrast. Nyaya school defends inference by saying that partial because Nyaya accepted inference, that partial perceptions plus known contradiction is enough to establish Vyapti. Through this, Nyaya infers unperceived entities like gods or atoms. What Vashishka says, that closely allied to Nyaya, it accepts inference to prove atoms as the ultimate cause of the world. It grounds Vyapti in real entities. So all the philosophical viewpoints who accepted inference, you have to put all of them in this category. Understood? Then include Mimamsa and Sankhya also. Okay. So when you are reading Indian philosophy, make sure that all the philosophers and all the philosophies are written with the ideologies they are accepting, the source of knowledge they are accepting, what Charpak accepted, what Buddhism accepted, what Vaishishta, Nyaya, all of these accepted, you have to type it because questions are seen based on these philosophies. Now please read a conclusion.
The next page.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
present an explosion of debate between Nyayikas and Buddhists and reference to the notion of Pramana and Pramanfal. So this question is a tough question. If you can frame this answer, then I can guarantee you that you have understood like most of the philosophers. Because yes, we talk about Pramana in case of debate between Nyayika and Buddhist, but Pramanfal is something which is sometimes missed in the class, right? So Praman and Pramanful, the relation they have asked. We discussed Nyayikas and Buddhists together, like PYQ also the question is also seen. But Pramana, relating Praman with Pramanfula is something which is we have to discuss. Now, what it is, Pramana is what tool through which we are gaining some knowledge, and Pramanful is what? Result. Now, if I give you example, suppose you use Google Map, right? To find a route. Now,
Yes, ma'am.
Google Map to find a route. Now, what is Google Map and route over here? If Pramana is a tool and Pramanfala is the result, what is Google Map and route over here? What is it?
In Google Map is Pramana and the route is Pramanfala.
Yes. So, how will you form the answer? First of all, write down.
Ma'am,
Yes,
uh,
speaking.
Mehak is unable to join the class because of some login issues. She is trying to contact the admin group, but no one is responsive. So she is having some problem to join the class.
Uh, Mehak is having problem in joining the class.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
She
there is
just
some issue
informed me.
going on. We are trying to resolve it. Please tell
Okay,
her
ma'am.
to see the recordings. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes, please tell her. Please pass my message. So, when it comes to Buddhist, now we have to tell what these two are according to Buddhist and Nyayikas. When it came to Buddhist, Pramana and Pramanfala are actually same, right? It's actually same. But when it comes to Nyayikas, Pramana and Pramanfala are not same. And this is what you have to explain. Simple. First explain what Pramana are with examples and what Pramanfala are, their correlation. Then explain what these two things individually and then compare them. With examples you have to do. So simple. I hope that you have understood what is Pramana and Pramanfala. So it's like the knowing act itself, like it's both the means and the result. Both means and the result. Right? Because everything is momentary according to Buddhist, right?
Yes, ma'am.
I hope that you are aware of his philosophy, momentariness.
Yes, ma'am. A rough
Yes.
idea. I have a rough idea.
Yes. So according to Buddhist, pramana is equals to pramanphala. The knowing act itself is both the means and the result, right? Because everything is momentary. So there is no gap between cause and effect. Understood? So these two are same
Yes,
for
ma'am.
Buddhist we are talking about. So suppose if you look at fire, I'm giving you example of Buddhist. Suppose you are looking at fire, right? So the knowing of fire, the act of looking at fire, you know about it before only, according to Buddhist. So according to him, it's equal. The pramana and pramanpala are equal. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
So you can write an example of lamp also. What it says that when you light a lamp, right, it lights itself and lights other objects at the same time. In the same way, Praman and Praman Phala are knowable to each other. Understood? Now, how will form the answers? Let's read. The debate between the Nyaya school and the Buddhist logicians is one of the most important discussion in Indian epistemology. It revolves around two central points. First is Praman and Pramanphala. Praman, the valid means of knowledge, how we know, and Pramanphala, the result or fruit of Pramana, usually valid cognitions, that is Pramati. Make sure, I'm telling you again, that all the Sanskrit words that you are reading, make sure that you are writing it, because I hope that you are aware that spellings is much different than the Hindi spelling and English spelling, because they include dots for the sound and you have to write them correctly. Okay. Next, the discussion
Yes,
touches
ma'am.
not only epistemology but also deeper metaphysics. Nyaya stands on pluralist realism. The world is real, made of many independent entities, while Buddhism emphasizes idealism and momentariness. This we have discussed, right? The debate on the number and nature of pramanas. Nyaya accepts pramana, anuman, upman, right? And shabd. Praman is defined, then you have to write the definition of Praman, right? Then you have to write Vatsyana. It says that Pramana produces knowledge free from doubt and error, revealing extra real objects. Nyaya also accepts Pramana Samplava. The same object may be known through more than one Pramana. For example, fire may be perceived directly or inferred from smoke. Then Buddhist positions, Vinaya and Dharmakirti. Buddhists reduce the number of Pramanas to two, which is Pratyaksha and Anumana. He accepts only two, which are perception and inference, right? Then the Dinanga, Pramana Suchya defines Pramana as Abhimavadaka Jnana, non-deceptive knowledge that gives Anadikata Arth Jnana. Shabd and Upmana are not independent, they are reduced to form of inference. Dharmakirti stresses the test of valid knowledge is Arthakriya. Now I know these Sanskrit words might be very difficult for you to understand, but once you start writing and start practicing, you won't find any problem. Okay. So what did Nyaya said? That Pramana and Pramaphala, these two are same or not, according to Nyaya?
Different. They are different.
They are different, yes. And Buddhist?
They are told there is no gap between them, so they are the same.
Yes. Okay. Now you can write the philosophers also include Nyayikas argue that reducing pramanas to weakens common practices like tension. This you can skip. I just mentioned it so that you can have overview of the answer. Okay. Now I have one more example. Which is Pramana and which is Pramanphala according to you over here?
Pramanphala is the cutting and Pramana is axe.
Yes, because this is means and this is result.
The result.
Right? Yes, please go through the key tensions. Read it once. Done?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now Buddhist view. Buddhists hold that cognition is self-illuminating. Hence, pramana and pramaphala are not two but one. You can write this also. Not like PP, you have to write exact words. Pramana is equals to pramanphala to explain it. And the Naga says pramana is nothing other than cognition itself taking the form of the object. This we have explained with example also. Dharmakirti defines pramana as avisambadi jnana, non-deceptive cognition where the means and results are the same. Because of Shandakitva, there can be no real cause-effect relations. Cognition arises and perishes instantly. Hence, cause and effect cannot be separated. They use the metaphor of a lamp, just as lamp illuminates itself in other objects. Cognition reveals both itself and objects. So, whenever any philosopher is giving examples, their examples you have to write it. The example is given here of lamp, so you have to mention it. Okay. Then I included all of the pointers. There are many things like key tension was there. The comparison of many philosophers was there. So you can skip it. I know it's tough to write in 150 words, all of these things. But I gave an overview of this topic because we haven't done it in class. Okay. So if you have any pointers that you can note it down, you can do it. Next we have arguments and counter arguments. What Nyayika said that if Pramana and Phala are identical, cause and effect collapse into one, which is illogical. Right? So suppose they are saying that smoke and fire, if these are same, then it's like cause and effect, there is no position of cause and effect can be seen. Right? How will you explain cause and effect if you are saying that these two are similar, right? And which is illogical. So Buddhist, if they are separate, it leads to infinite regress. If every combination requires another combination to validate, knowledge will never begin. Self-elimination solves this. So this is what Buddhists reply to Nyayika's cause and effect theory. Next problem is Nyayika's momentariness makes stable knowledge impossible. Buddhist says that continuity of similar momentary entities explains stability in experience. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Closer to Nyaya, you can add example of Mimamsa, Humayula accepts more pramanas and also distinguishes pramanas from Phala. So Mimamsa, what he accepted? He accepted 6 pramanas, right? Perception, inference, comparison, testimony. What are other two? What are other two, Saptarishi?
Uh, mm,
Upman and Anuman. So, Pratyaksh, Anuman, Upman, Shabda, Arthapati and Anuplabdhi. All these 6 were accepted by Mimamsa. And Mimamsa both theories, Prabhakara and Kumarilika, dono, both of them accepted. I'll be making one table of all the means of knowledge and I want you to note it down. Then contrast, Charvak accepts only perceptions, right? Only one knowledge, denying inference and rejecting pramana phala. Sankhya emphasizes discriminative knowledge but does not focus on this debate directly. Then please read this conclusion.
yes, ma'am.
Okay. Okay. So, how many means of knowledge are accepted? One, right? Which was perception.
Yes.
I want quick
Yes.
answers. How many
Yes.
Buddhism accepted?
Pramana and Pramanfala both are same, so basically one.
No, Buddhism. Buddhist. Pratyaksha.
Yes.
Write it down. And Pramana.
Yes.
Two. After this, these all the means of knowledge should be on your tip because questions are asked that what they refuted, how many philosophies they accepted, and then you have to explain it. Right? These types of questions can also come. So, all Indian philosophers, all Indian philosophies, I'm writing all the means of knowledge they accepted and all the they rejected. Okay. So, Charva accepted one, which is protection, and Buddhism he accepted two, protection and Anuman. Then Yashiska, same, accepted two, protection and Brahman, right? And then Sankhya, he accepted four. What are those? What are those, Saptarishi?
Pratyaksha, Pramana, and then Anuman
Yes,
and
Shabda,
Upaman Shabd.
Shabd, which is testimony. And you should know Sanskrit words also these. And what about yoga? What about yoga, Saptarishi?
Uh, I have forgotten. Pratyaksha,
Praman and then same Shabda.
Shabd.
Any idea about Nyaya?
I think four. I think
Yes, all these including Upman. And what about Mimamsa? This I've
five.
explained just before this slide.
Okay.
Six. What are those?
Uh, Pratyaksha, Pramana, Shabd, Upaman, and then the other two is
Prataksha, Anumana, Upmana, Shabd, Arthapati, Anuplabdhi.
Upapati
Arthapati
and
is
Anu.
what? Postulation. And Anuplabdhi is known perceptions. And even Vedanta also accepted these six. So this whole table is covering all the valid means of knowledge that they have accepted. And this is very important. And it should be on your tip. Got it? Written? Should we
Yes,
move
ma'am.
to next slide? Okay. Now delineate the main points of difference between the theory of intrinsic validations, that is Swatha Pramana, and theory of extrinsic validations, that is Pratha Pramana, in classical Indian philosophy. So there are a few key Sanskrit words. First of all, read these and then I'll explain the questions to you. Swatha Pramanyavad says
Yes,
that
ma'am.
the moment you see any knowledge, it's valid at that moment only. So knowledge is valid the moment it arises. Now you have understood what extrinsic validation is, right? The opposite of it. So, for example, like in Swata Pramana, you don't need to verify it immediately. It's self-valid unless something later contradicts. It's what? Self-valid. Swata, over here this word means self, and Pramanyavad means which needs proof, right? So it's valid in itself only until and unless later it got contradicted. So this is what Swata Pramanyavad. Okay, so you don't need to verify it immediately. It's self-valid unless something later contradicts. So for example, you see a code, you already know it's a code, and suppose this is pen, right? And I know this is pen, but someone later comes to me and says it's not pen, it's pencil, right? So that's Swata Pramanyavad. It's true, it's justifiable the moment I see it, the moment I perceive it. Until and unless someone later comes to me and proves it wrong. So that's Swata Pramanyavad. So validity is like intrinsic and invalidity is extrinsic. Please write it down. Written.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So the debate is about whether validity of knowledge, that is Pramanyavad, is intrinsic or needs external confirmations. Okay. So what is Swata Pramanyavad? It's intrinsic validity. Knowledge is self-valid the moment it arrives. How? The same causes that produce cognitions also produces its validity. For example, if I see a pot, my cognition says that yes, this is a pot. It is valid by itself. Unless later someone contradicts it. Example, someone shows me that it's just a painted image, right? Invalidity, pramana, it's extrinsic. We know our cognition is valid, invalid only when another cognition shows the defect, right? So, understood both of the terms? Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
So these are the Sanskrit words. If you can put it in the examination, then it's good. If you can memorize it well, then it's good. Otherwise, you can skip it. I know it's tough to remember all these Sanskrit words, but I think it can happen with practice. So still write it down. Then there are supporters. So all the supporters are Mimamsa, Prabhakara and Kumarila both to defend Veda's authority. Advaita Vedanta, Shankara, Brahma knowledge is self-luminous. Right? Then Pratha Pramanyavad, extrinsic validity. Knowledge is not valid by itself. Its validity is established only when it is corroborated by another cognition or successful practical activity. Arth Kriya. Example, if I see a water in the desert, I cannot say the cognition is valid until I actually go near or confirm. Then it is neutral. Suppose you are seeing something, someone told you that it's existing over there, right? You won't listen to that person until unless you see it. And then on the basis of that information, you'll decide that it's valid or invalid. Right? Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Both validity and invalidity are extrinsic. You need a second cognition to confirm truth or falsity. They are again Sanskrit words. If you can memorize it, good. Otherwise, you can skip it. I still mentioned it. Then supporters, Nyaya, Vashishta and Buddhist. If you can write two, then your answer is good to go. Other philosophical implications, Swata and Pratha. Swata helps defend Vedic authority. Veda is eternal, self-valid, no external proof. and Pratha supports logical realism. Truth must be tested, practical and corresponds. Right? So it's based on Vedas, it's based on logic. So Swata Pramanyavad, knowledge is innocent until proven guilty. Prata Pramanyavad, knowledge is guilty until proven innocent. If this is for you to understand, it's short. Got it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So read this next question. Whenever it comes to Ramanuja, I think this answer should take less time because he gave his 7 contradictions. And once you start writing and practicing, you will understand and you will be used to it, right? Okay. And in this question, there will be less Sanskrit words also, so you can form the answer very well. And it's very easy and interesting to know about his contradictions. I find it very interesting. So let's read what he said about it. So the question says, examine Ramanuja's 7 objections against Mayavad of Advaita. Mayavad, which is illusion, right?
Yes.
So this is what we have to contradict in Ramanuja's book. So Advaita said what? That world is illusion, Maya, that Brahma alone is the reality. This is what he said. Right? So Ramanuja replies to this that the theory has 7 major flaws, which is Saptanupatti. 7 major flaws. And you have to write all those flaws one by one with example. Okay. So first he says the problem of locus, that where does Maya exist? This is his first contradiction he is coming up with. That if Maya is the cause of illusion, where exactly does it reside? It cannot be Brahma because Brahma is pure, indivisible knowledge. If Maya resides there, it introduces duality, right? Brahma is indivisible,
Yes,
and if
ma'am.
it's existing there, then it's giving birth to what? Duality, right? And if it's giving birth to duality, then it contradicts the Brahma nature, which is being indivisible, right? Second, it cannot be in the Jiva, individual soul, because the Jiva itself is said to arise due to Maya. So this would be a circular movement, right? What did he say? That Jiva is even taking birth from Brahma. But if you are saying that it's residing in Jiva, if Brahma is residing in Jiva, the Maya is residing in Jiva, then this is a circular argument. Thus, Maya has no proper foundation, making Advaita's theory unstable. Okay. Then, second, also you have to write and learn these words also. Tirota Dhanapati, the problem of concealment. How can Maya hide Brahma? In this he asks that Brahma is infinite, self-luminous knowledge. How can ignorance cover it? So, like darkness cannot cover sun, right? Then how can Brahma be covered by this illusion? How can Maya cover Brahma? Brahma is superior, by whom the whole world is made, and who is the center part of this world. Then how can Maya cover Brahma? This was his question. So, if ignorance can cover Brahma, it would simply imply Brahma is not knowing, which is absurd. And this similar thinking was Madhva. If you can write these examples and similar thinkers, then it's good to go. Otherwise, you can skip it. He also argues that Advaita beckons God's omniscience. Nimbarka accepts real differences, but still cannot fully solve this issue according to Ramanuja. Then third is Swarupana Patpati, the problem of defining Maya's nature. So it was asked that what is exactly Maya is, right? If it is real, then it can never be destroyed, contradicting the idea of liberation. If it is unreal, then it cannot project this massive world illusion. If it is both real and unreal, or neither, then it is self-contradictory, right? So nature of Brahma, nature of Maya was not clear. Then we have Aniravachanya Papatti, the problem of indescribability. Advait says that Maya is Aniravachanya, indescribable, neither real nor unreal. Ramanuja rejects this, that reality and reality exist only categories. That these are the two things only. Either it's real or it's unreal. Right? So there is no third category in logic. To say something is beyond description is to destroy the very foundation of reasoning. Then first is the problem of knowledge sources. If Maya exists, how do we know it? Like we know it through perceptions, then we cannot see it Maya, right? Then inference, we don't have any valid knowledge of inferring it, right? Then scriptures, nothing is written about Maya anywhere, right? So Praman is not given about Maya, right? Then next is the problem of removing Maya. So according to Advaita, realizing Brahma removes Maya. But Ramanuja asks, if Brahma is attributes, how can one even realize it? So realization always involves qualities and differences. This we have studied in Western philosophy also, that without this Maya cannot truly be dispelled. Then the seventh problem, the problem of liberation after Maya is gone. If Maya is somehow removed, knowledge alone cannot be give liberation. So the jiva is bound by real karma. Karma cannot be erased by mere intellectual realizations. So he gives seven. First he asks that where it exists. Then second he asks that how can ignorance cover Brahma. Then third he asks what is the nature of Maya. Real, unreal, and it can be destroyed or not, right? Then fourth he asks about indescribable, right? Then fifth he asks how do we know about Maya. Then sixth he asks how is Maya removed, and then seventh he asks about liberation of this Maya. Understood all 7 pointers?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in this, Ramanujan shows that Advaita's Maya doctrine is self-contradictory and against scripture. That it is self-contradictory and against nature. Okay, so for Advait, world is illusion, right? But for Ramanuja, world is real, created by a personal Brahma. So ultimate truth is Brahma with qualities, which is accessible through bhakti and grace. Please read the conclusion.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so someone from YouTube channel asked that are these Osho philosophy, is this all covered from Estina book? No, it's not from Estina books. These are self-written notes and pointers. You can note it down. And please repeat what you said about Osho philosophy again, on which pointer you were saying it. Okay. Next, present and exposition of Nyaya Vaishishka's theory of possessions. Now, Nyaya Vaishishka's theory of possession. Nyaya and Vaishishka schools are allied systems of Indian philosophy. Both uphold the Asatkaryavad. Now, what is Asatkaryavad? What is asat karyavad? That effect is existing, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So it says that effect is new, but not pre-existing, right? Asat means what? Asat means not existing. Whenever Sanskrit words come, try to break it down. Asat, right? So they say that effect does not exist in the course before it is made. Right? For example, like before the potter makes a pot, there is only clay. The pot does not already exist inside the clay. It comes into being newly when the potter shapes the clay. Understood? What is Asat Karyavad? So the cause is not existing before. It's made on. Later on it comes into existence. The difference between cause and effect. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
So for example, if I am seeing any material, I cannot see that if the cause is going to be there or not. It comes later, right? So effect is like a fresh creation, not something hidden inside the cause, right? So this theory is consistent with their realist and pluralist world view, where reality is made up of many independent substance qualities and eternal atoms. Then Asat Karyavad explain it with example over here, giving the quote example, right? Then this view fits their atomism. The world is made of eternal, partless atoms. Atoms combine to form dark, tribes, and larger compounds. Each compound is a new entity, distinct from the atoms and subject to destructions. Then role of God and Adrashata. So to this he says that atoms don't move on their own. They are inert. Okay, so God, which is Ishvara, pushes atoms into motions like a cosmic portal. Okay, then Adarshata, which is unseen, it is a karmic force. So it decides Adarshata, the unseen, the karmic force decides why a particular atoms join, so that the moral law of karma is maintained. Understood? So over here, God is compared with karma. I hope that you are writing all these pointers also.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then type of cause is very important. First is Samavai Karan, that is inherent cause, material itself, like clay is for a pot. Okay, inherent cause. Okay, example like clay for a pot. Samavai Karan, that is non-inherent cause, relation, qualities like joining of atoms, the conjunction of atoms, right? Then we have Nimitta Karan, that is efficient cause, the maker, potter, or ultimate god. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
This shows that an effect is product of multiple factors working together, not some hidden in the causes. Okay. Now next is philosophical implications. If you want, you can write it. Otherwise, you can skip it. But yes, do read it. So when it comes to realism and pluralism, it says that world is real, made up of many independent things, right? The knowledge when you see a new code, your knowledge means a real new object, right? The liberation, freedom comes from correct knowledge of reality, not from mystical illusion breaking. This is what these pointers are saying. Please read it. Should we move to next slide?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, then you can write about thinkers, Charvak, Buddhist, and Mimamsa. Okay, Sankhya, all of these other philosophers. Read it once. Then we have contrasting views. For example, Sankhya, it says that effects already exist in the cause, right? Then Advait, that world is just appearance, illusion by Maya, right? Then we have Ramanuja, which says Vishishtavada, which says world is real, but it is a transformation of Brahma. Now read the conclusion, please.
The next page.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Next we have present our detailed account of Gautama's definition of perception. So, did you read Gautam?
Little bit, yes.
Okay, so what was
I
his
have read
idea?
about his item. He talked
What was
about moksha, or he talked about the yes, the liberation from moho or maya.
Yes. So this is how we have to write. So first write the definition of perception. He also called Apsara. So when you read these Sanskrit words, you understand them, or you also have problem in writing
Uh,
it down.
no, ma'am. I understand it because I have learned Sanskrit for 2 3 years.
Okay, great. So for NAV, philosophy, perception is the most basic and important source of knowledge, and it is important to note that perception is, I think, accepted most of the by most of the philosophy, right? So because it is through perception that we directly come into contact with reality. The definition of perception, it defines perception is the direct and immediate knowledge. Okay, this we can write. This makes it different from inference, comparison, or testimony, since all of those depend on prior knowledge of words. Perceptions include both ordinary and extraordinary experiences. It always excludes indirect source of knowledge. What is Lokika and Alokika?
Lautika means ordinary things, and alokita means extraordinary.
Examples?
Extraordinary. Ordinary things like simple things like the fire is hot, the water is cold. These things. Extraordinary things, the miraculous things that we don't see every day. These things. The
Okay.
sudden experience, a spookiness to in going to some dark place, something like this.
Okay. So now we'll understand four conditions. What are those? In the Artha Sandikarsa, there must be direct contact between send organ and object. So whatever object you are perceiving, suppose I can see this pen. So because of this direct contact of this pen in me, I can call this Indriya. Indriya, what are Indriya?
The five senses, senses,
Yes.
yes,
Yes.
nose, eyes.
Yes. Yes. So he talks about sense organs, the relation of sense organs and the objects. Then Avyapadesha. That is, perception should not be based on someone else's words or description. It must be immediate, first hand experience. If I can see this pen, there is no third reality which is helping me to perceive this, right? The relation is between me and this pen, right? Between me and this object, right? So this is what is been told in this second pointer. Then Abhyabhikara, the perception must be free from errors, illusions, or unstable perception impressions caused by defective senses. So I can perceive this pen. Why? Because there is no discrimination or any problem in perceiving it, right? Then Vyavasmaka, the cognition should be determinate and free from doubt or confusion. It must be give a clear or certain knowledge of the object. Understood all these 4 pointers?
Yes, ma'am.
Then process of perception. The self, the mind, the sense organ and the object. So all these 4 are required to attain the knowledge. The process is sequential. The self connects with the mind. So self connecting the mind and minds connect with senses, right? And those helps us understanding external object. Okay. Then 2 stages of perception. First is nirvikalpa, indeterminate perception. This is the raw initial stage of perceptions, where the object is grasped in vague way without naming or categorizing it. For example, dimly noticing an object in the dark without knowing what it is. For example, if you are moving in a room and you see any object, the shadows, right? So that's what. That's your first viewing of that object, right? So it's nirvikalpa. Then second, savikalpa, determinate perception. This is the later refined stage, where the object is clearly recognized, classified and described in language. For example, after adjusting your visions, realizing that the object in the dark is a chair. So suppose you move in a room and there is a dim light, you cannot see objects clearly, right? But when we switch on the light, we can see objects very clearly. So this is the differentiator. That is savikalpa. Seeing objects clearly, savikalpa. And when you see objects in a fading manner, that's nirvikalpa. Then features. It cannot be expressed in words, does not lead to action, always valid knowledge. Savikalpa can be expressed in language and may lead to action and can sometimes be mistaken. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then types of perception, we have lokika and alaukika. That is external, via prataksha, contact of 5 senses. And what is alaukika? It's perception of universals. Example, recognizing calmness. Right? It's universals. Then there are types of alaukika. First is samanya lakshana, that is perception of universals. Example, recognizing calmness in a cow. Then jnana lakshana, that is perceptions aided by memory. Example, perceiving fragrance or recalling sandalwood. Right? Then yogarka, that is spatial perception of yogis, which gives direct knowledge of past, present, and future, similar to kevalya jnana in Jainism or bodhi in Buddhism. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Samanya is universal recognition. Jnana Lakshana is by memory. Yoga is by yogis, which give direct knowledge. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, comparison with Western philosophers. Nyaya accepts that knowledge has 2 aspects, the raw sensory inputs and the conceptual interpretation. This is somewhat similar to Kant. What did Kant say? What did Kant say?
Kant talked about categories and then science, space and time. This thing. He talked about the perceptions and conceptions. We have to bring them together to get to a knowledge.
Yes. So he said that percepts without concepts are blind and concepts without percepts are empty. Right?
empty.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
In the same way, like Nyaya said, right? So, but unlike Kant, Nyaya does not fall into the problem of circular process. Instead, it treats perception as one of integrated process where sensation and conceptions are distinguishable but inseparable in reality. So, difference between Kant and Nyaya. Philosophical parallels. Then you can write about Vaisheshika theories also. It agrees with Nyaya account of perceptions. The table that I have mentioned. Then Mimamsa stresses sense contact like Nyaya but also holds a Vedic testimony as an independent source of valid knowledge. Then Western empiricist, example Locke also gives primacy to sense perceptions, right? We read Locke very deeply, right? So what he says that anything that I can perceive, it's real, right?
Yes, ma'am. Yes.
So without Nyaya's subtle distinction between stages of perception and the mediating role of Manas. Please read the conclusion.
Can I go to the next page?
Yeah.
Yes, ma'am.
How is Brahma conceptualized in Advaita philosophy as both Nimitta and Upadana, Karna of the world? Discuss with suitable example.
Ma'am,
Yes.
I have to leave the class now, but I shall see the recordings later.
Class is over. I think we can end it over here.